important part of the gameplay, as it's your primary source of information. It features everything you need to know to be able to perform tasks on the ground. In the first tab from the left, named Operations, you'll discover and find all data about incoming and outgoing flights you're due to handle. In the Map tab, as the name suggests, there's a map of the airport displaying your current position and all available vehicles and aircraft to be used. And in the final tab named Weather, you'll find all the options available to manipulate weather conditions at your present location. We shall discuss each of these tabs in detail. The screen is divided into two columns. The left-hand side acts as a timetable for all flights that are scheduled to take place at the airport on the present day, but divided into arrivals and departures. At the top, there's a button that filters the flights and shows only the ones you're assigned to handle on the day. Each flight is displayed in an ordered grid where all the information you'll need is displayed. Arrival time, flight number, arrival or departure location, and stand number are located on the left. The right-hand side displays a list of tasks you'll have to complete when handling the aircraft. To view the tasks are arranged in the order in which they should be completed. When you complete an action, it will be crossed off, and those which are yet to be performed have empty markers on the left side of each task title. Now we'll head to the Map tab. Whilst at Vagar, you won't need the map too much. However, at larger airports such as Keflavik or Warsaw, it will be a major player in getting to where you need to be. The map features will show you the quickest route to your destination and, in addition, the location of available airport vehicles, aircraft and aircraft stands. Pretty much everything to help you navigate the apron. To navigate the map, use the controls displayed on screen. To zoom in and out, use the controls displayed on screen. To rotate the view, use the controls displayed on screen. The GPS view is always centered on your position and rotates around it. And finally, the Weather tab. At the top, you'll notice that two different clocks are displayed. The first one, from the left, displays the local time at the airport, and the second one shows UTC time, which is used as a common time zone in aviation. UTC time is calculated relative to the prime meridian passing through the famous town in the United Kingdom, Greenwich, which is also known as the centre of time. Below the clocks, you'll find a slider that allows you to manipulate the time in AirportSim. And under the slider, you'll find a calendar where you can select any date. Try it for yourself and see how the height of the sun changes depending on the time of year. The Live button will automatically set the date, time and weather conditions to what they currently are in your present location. In this instance, the weather data is fetched and based upon the most recent METAR weather data at Vagar Airport. The apply button is used to apply the selected time in-game. At the very bottom, there are weather presets that you will be able to select to recreate predefined weather conditions. Some selected conditions, such as cloud cover and storm, cannot be manipulated once applied. Using the sliders, you'll be able to change and adjust individual weather conditions. On the left, there is a visualization of the cloud height. The lower line corresponds to the height of the cloud base above sea level. The upper line displays the height of cloud tops above sea level. Adjustments of weather conditions are done in real time and do not need to be applied like time changes. Good job! You've now learned how to use the tablet in AirportSim. In the next tutorial, you'll be on your way to learning the basics of ground handling. Now, you'll learn about one of the most essential vehicles contributing to the everyday function of an airport, the Follow Me vehicle. Its general purpose is to guide aircraft to designated parking gates or specific areas of the airport safely. It's used when arriving pilots are unfamiliar with the airport or when the aircraft requires special support during taxiing. We will be using the black and yellow checkered Follow Me vehicle parked at the terminal for this task. Approach and enter the vehicle. An inbound aircraft will be arriving soon, and I have received information that the crew has requested Follow Me support. Start the vehicle and activate its warning lights. Open the tablet and switch to the Map tab. You will see the route to meet the aircraft at the designated taxiway intersection. Remember that every aircraft moving on the apron has priority on taxiways and intersections. Drive on the designated roads on the apron near the terminal. Great. Now I will explain step by step what you need to do. Position yourself in front of the plane so that the back of your vehicle is facing the aircraft's nose. Now, you need to activate the Follow Me sign on the roof of your vehicle so that the pilot knows to follow you. Follow the instructions displayed on screen. Great! Now follow the map's path directions to the parking area assigned to this aircraft. Maintain a speed of about 30 kilometers an hour. Stay within sight of the pilots and do not stray too far from the aircraft. The distance between you and the aircraft should never be less than 100 meters or more than 250 meters. If you need the aircraft to stop suddenly, press the displayed button, which activates the stop sign on your vehicle's display. already identify their parking area thanks to your guidance. Drive to the end and park on the service road in the designated area. You have just learned how to perform a general follow-me procedure. In any case, you'll have to be constantly conscious of the traffic of other aircraft on the airport apron and triple check which stand you need to bring the aircraft to. See you later.
Hey, coucou, abonne-toi, merci.
In this tutorial, you will learn how to work as an aircraft marshaller. Some of the gates are equipped with an automatic visual docking guidance system, or AVDGS, which, just like a marshaller, except digital, also guides an aircraft correctly into parking gates. The remaining stands that do not have this system are handled by a member of ground crew to marshal aircraft in. The goal is for the marshaller to assist the pilot in accurately maneuvering the aircraft onto the correct parking tee. The cockpit crew sit above the main wheel of the aircraft and don't have clear visibility to provide an exact idea of its location. So it's crucial this process is accurately managed from the outside to result in the most correct parking position, allowing equipment such as jetways to properly and safely connect to the aircraft. As you can see, the correct points or parking tees are marked on the central line where the aircraft is supposed to park. Each aircraft should stop with its front wheel on the line. At Vagar, there are special cases where the lines are painted and marked differently than usual. Pilots must make an almost 90-degree turn so that the ground markings are visible correctly when they approach the stand head-on, and the lines are marked by perpendicular lines or lines that mark the end or beginning of a turn. Each gate is marked by a white or red line. No objects or vehicles should be present within their range unless the gate is specifically not in use. As you can see at the first stand, there are cones lying there. Your task is to clear the stand and move them to a safe place. We have a designated area where you must carry the cones to. An aircraft is already approaching the stand. Take up position by the stand, following the information displayed on the screen. The aircraft has now positioned itself at the base of the stand. Guide it to the second tee, which is highlighted. Remember that the parked aircraft's front wheels must be on the line. and the aircraft itself should be as parallel to it as possible. Follow the controls displayed on screen to guide the aircraft. Great! You have just learned how to marshal an aircraft onto a stand safely and accurately. See you next time! In this tutorial, you will learn how to secure an aircraft in its place at a gate following standard safety procedures. You'll do this with the use of chocks to be placed under all the aircraft's wheels and cones to be placed at critical areas around the aircraft where we do not want curious passengers or unauthorized personnel approaching. As you can see, a plane is approaching the gate. Collect a full set of wheel chocks at the indicated area. The aircraft has arrived at the gate, and its engines and all beacon lights are switched off. You may safely approach the aircraft's front set of wheels. Place a set of chocks under the wheels. To do this, approach and point at the front wheels and press the displayed button to place a set of chocks. Great! I think you've got the hang of it. Repeat the same process for the rear left and right wheel sets. Now head over to the indicated set of cones. To raise them, press the displayed button, click the displayed button to rotate them upwards, and use the displayed button to position them. To throw the object, hold down the displayed button. Just like with the chocks, place the cones in their indicated areas. The order in which you do this doesn't matter. To be inserted into its slot on the strut of the front wheels. The purpose of this pin is to prevent the cockpit crew from having any steering control of this wheel, as it can pose a danger to the crew on the ground if moved accidentally. It also allows the ground crew to take control of steering of the aircraft by bypassing the aircraft's pressurized hydraulic systems during a pushback procedure. You'll learn more about this in another tutorial. Now approach the front wheel and firmly insert the bypass pin in its slot indicated by the marker. Congratulations! You have just prepared and secured the aircraft for parking and further servicing. Now, we will present you with the same scenario, but in reverse. You'll need to collect all the previously placed safety articles efficiently and safely. At Vagar Airport, we have a unique situation where an aircraft can leave the stand and taxi without being pushed back onto the taxiway. This means the final step of this process will be taking the bypass pin out of the front gear strut, and the aircraft can go on its way. The aircraft has already been serviced and is waiting for it to be released from the ground crew's hands. Each parking gate or parking stand is identified by a red or white perimeter outline. When the aircraft is in motion and its engines are running, no unnecessary objects, vehicles or personnel should be inside this area. This is due to the risk of the aircraft colliding with a vehicle or unwanted objects being sucked into the engine. If such a situation occurs and the area is not clear, you'll be notified through your in-game tablet. Collect the cones and wheel chocks and place them in safe areas outside the parking stand's perimeter. Finally, head back over to the aircraft, remove the bypass pin and leave the area. Congratulations! You have completed the training on securing an aircraft when parked at a gate. Now, I'll teach you how to operate a ground power unit, which is known as GPU in aviation jargon. You're probably wondering, what exactly does the GPU do? Besides what its name gives away, let me explain that to you. After landing, the aircraft generates electricity from the engines. But as you may have noticed, the aircraft shuts down its engines faster than we can connect and start the GPU. Shortly after landing, the crew start the auxiliary power unit, or APU for short, which will generate electricity for the aircraft until we, the ground handling crew, connect the GPU to the aircraft, which will power the aircraft more efficiently and at a lower fuel price. During this time, the cockpit crew and ground handling can perform their assigned tasks without a cut in power to the aircraft. Okay, now you need to use the tug parked in the marked area and transport the GPU to the position next to the aircraft. There's already an aircraft parked there, which is scheduled to depart soon. This will give us a chance to show you the complete process of connecting and disconnecting the GPU. Before you start, you need to connect the GPU to the tow hook of the tug so that you can transport it. It's quite simple. you need to back up the tug so that the hook is close to coupling with the GPU. Then get out of the tug, approach the rear and follow the action displayed on the screen to couple them together. Great! Just remember that you hook and unhook other trailers in the same way. Hop back in the tug and head over to the aircraft as indicated. Now, detach the GPU from the tug and go to the rear side of it, where you'll need to open the hatch revealing the control panel. Now I'll show you the generator startup sequence. You'll operate it using the controls displayed on the screen as we go. Toggle the power on button. This will activate the generator battery. Now, you'll need to hold down the engine start button for approximately 3 seconds until the engine starts. Now, we have to wait 30 seconds until the engine heats up and the oil temperature reaches 80 degrees Celsius. In the meantime, go to the nose of the aircraft and open the hatch where the connector is located. Great. Now on the side of the GPU, there's a slot containing a cable. You need to pick up the cable and plug it into the aircraft's power socket. To pick up the cable, follow the action displayed on screen. Connect the cable to the aircraft's power socket. Perfect. Now go back to the panel and switch the engine setting knob from idle to run. Then press the DC output button to the on position. Now notify the cockpit crew through the communication panel that they can turn off the APU and switch to GPU power. Open this panel using the controls displayed on screen. Navigate to the flight deck option, then APU, and then turn off the APU. Great! Now the aircraft is powered only by the GPU, and the rest of the ground crew and the aircraft crew can continue with their work. Now it's time to teach you how to disconnect an aircraft's ground power prior to departure. Obviously, we can't just unplug the cable and leave the crew without power. When you finish all your other tasks and it's time to disconnect the GPU, you'll need to inform the crew that they can start the APU. We'll teach you how to do that on this aircraft. Head over to the indicated area. Approach the aircraft from the side where the GPU is parked. Your task now is to notify the cockpit crew that they may start the APU. To do this, open the communication panel panel using the controls displayed on screen. Select Flight Deck, APU, and Start APU. Great, the crew has just started the APU. Go to the back of the aircraft, specifically under its tail, and listen to the APU's startup sequence. If you want to, remove your protective headphones using the displayed button. To check the startup progress, open the tablet and select the aircraft you're currently at. In the task table, you'll find information about the startup progress. The APU is now fully operational. Now go to the panel and switch the DC output to off. Then turn the engine switch from run to idle. Finally, unplug the cable connected to the aircraft and place it back into the GPU. Great, everything went according to plan. Now you need to return the GPU to the designated location at the parking ramp to complete the tutorial. Congratulations! You've just learned how to operate the GPU after arrival and before departure of an aircraft. See you later! You will now learn how to operate the passenger stairs. Generally, there are two common ways to disembark an aircraft, via jetway or stairs. There should be a passenger stairs vehicle nearby. Walk up to it and get behind the wheel. There are several ways to access an aircraft. Today, we will show you how to operate the passenger stairs vehicle. As you can see, it's equipped with a movable stairs platform that can move up and down to adjust to the different door heights of various aircraft types. This solution is used at airport parking stands where a jetway may not be present, or at the rear of an aircraft where a jetway can't reach. The vehicle is located near the terminal in the parking area. Get into it. Okay, an aircraft is waiting for you at one of the stands. Drive around to the indicated L1 door area and park the stairs vehicle opposite the door with the stairs facing it. Remember that the left side of the aircraft is always designated for passenger or crew service, so no matter what type of aircraft it is, you will always approach the stairs from the left side. Now that you're in place, you need to slowly move closer to the aircraft door. To make it easier for you, switch the camera to the outside view using the button displayed on the screen. Slowly approach the lower edge of the door. To make things a little easier, on the dashboard of the vehicle's cab, you will see two illuminating lights, one red and one green. The red light indicates that you aren't correctly aligned with or near enough to the door. The green light blinks when you are at the ideal distance from the aircraft's door to deploy the vehicle's standing supports and to raise the stairs platform if necessary. When the light illuminates a solid green color, it means the vehicle is in place and secured. This indicates that you can continue up the stairs and safely open the door. Remember not to slam the vehicle into the aircraft. The lip of the stairs only needs to be barely touching the edge. vehicle's standing supports. Use the button displayed on the screen to do so. Now you're safely secured in place. Exit the vehicle and walk up the stairs. Open the aircraft's door. Once the door is open, pull the left and right barriers into place to secure the safe passage of crew and passengers by preventing the possibility of a grievous fall. Great work! Everything is ready for passengers to disembark safely from the aircraft. To disconnect the stairs from the aircraft, you need to perform all of these actions in reverse order. I think you can give that a go on your own when the opportunity arises, right? See you in the next tutorial. In today's tutorial, we'll teach you how to replenish food, snacks and refreshments in an aircraft's galley using a catering truck. The frequency of catering services being ordered depends on the airline and the length of the flight. Often, airlines replenish their supplies based on a full return leg, so they don't need to get catering service again at the destination airport. On your tablet, you'll find information on which aircraft you need to service and where. Now select the highlighted flight that we're going to serve. We see that the aircraft we'll be servicing is parked at gate 9. Now enter the catering truck, drive to the position and stop in front of the rear right doors of the aircraft. Your task now is to connect the catering truck to the aircraft. It looks very similar to operating stairs, only instead of passengers, we load food. Drive under the right rear door and stop. Then extend the supports using the button displayed on screen. Now, and just like with the stairs, a flashing green light means you can confirm the connection to the aircraft, and a steady green light means the connection has been made. To confirm the connection, press the process of loading and unloading. During the overall catering process, you'll be able to perform other tasks around the aircraft. Okay, the loading has finished. To disconnect the vehicle from the aircraft, press the displayed button. Then lower the container to the base position using the displayed button. Now retract the supports using the displayed button. Great! You have just completed the process of replenishing food and supplies on an aircraft using a catering truck. See you later. Hi, in this tutorial you'll be responsible for transporting passengers to and from an aircraft as an airport shuttle bus driver. You'll do this task using the bus. This is the most popular means of transport at airports in Europe. Okay, enough talking, let's get to work. In the previous tutorial, you learned how to attach stairs to an aircraft. So now we will use your skills to prepare for passenger service. So, get in the passenger stairs vehicle and connect them to the plane at the location indicated on your tablet. wheel of the bus and we'll get to work. Drive the bus to the aircraft where you just attached the stairs. But before you do that, we'll teach you how to read the information on your tablet that you need for this task. You'll find it in the Operations tab under flight number X-ray Yankee Zulu 1234. As you can see, you need to pick up passengers from the aircraft parked at stand 10 and take them to gate 1. Cautiously approach the aircraft and park the bus in the indicated area opposite the stairs. Ensure you park so that the right side of your bus is facing the stairs. Looks like it's time to open the doors for the passengers to board the bus. To do this, you need to open the 3 doors on the right side of the vehicle by pressing the button displayed on screen. Great! The passengers will be deplaning in just a moment. Wait until all passengers have safely boarded the bus and then close the doors using the button displayed on screen. Once everything is ready, the route in your tablet will be updated and will lead you to the gate where the passengers will disembark. Okay, now carefully transport the passengers to the terminal at gate number 1. Follow the path marked on the GPS. Remember, you're driving a bus with standing people, so you need to be careful. In scenario mode, you'll be assessed for passenger safety. As this is a tutorial, the passengers are specially trained to deal with novice bus drivers and to expect the unexpected. Avoid sharp turns at high speeds and sudden stops. Ensure to park the bus with the right side facing the terminal. Then open the doors to allow passengers to disembark. Remember to only open the doors on the gate side. Great! Since we're also picking up passengers for the next flight, don't close the doors to the bus. As soon as all the passengers have left the bus, the next ones will begin boarding. close the doors and get ready to take the passengers to the aircraft you collected your previous passengers from. The GPS route should already be displayed. Follow it to get over to the aircraft. Once you've arrived back, just like before, park next to the stairs with the right side facing them. Open the doors of the bus so that passengers can board. All that's left is to close the doors, remove the stairs, and park the bus back in the parking spot where we started. Congratulations! You have completed the tutorial on transporting passengers to and from an aircraft. See you again! In today's tutorial, you will learn how to operate a terminal passenger jetway, also known as a jet bridge or air bridge. Jetways are mobile structures that are permanently attached to the terminal building on one side and connect to the aircraft on the other side to create a bridge for passengers to move from the terminal to the aircraft safely. Jetways are the most popular means of transport for passengers at large and medium airports. Without further ado, climb the stairs to the jetway. Now, let's talk about the construction and how it moves. Most jetways are divided into three parts. The bridge connects the remaining part of the jetway to the terminal, which always ends in a support structure. The telescopic bridge extends or retracts depending on the operator's needs. Finally, the rotunda, which allows for adjustment by rotating around its circumference. Below is a mechanism that raises the entire bridge, and at ground level, there are wheels that move the rotunda and telescopic parts. Now, let's discuss the controls. On the panel, you'll see a screen that displays the jetway's wheels. They show the relative rotation of the wheels in relation to the rotunda. You control the rotation and forward and backward movement of the wheels with the controls displayed on screen. Then, to rotate the rotunda, use the buttons displayed on the screen. To change the height of the cabin, use the buttons displayed on screen. Now you understand how to move the jetway. So let's move on to docking it to an aircraft. The door next to you must be aligned with the aircraft door. Remember to be careful around the aircraft to avoid damaging it. As with stairs, when you are properly positioned, a green light will start flashing, indicating that you can extend the canopy to the aircraft. To connect to the aircraft, press the button displayed on screen. Great! The cabin crew will now open the doors. Passengers will soon be disembarking and boarding. For tutorial purposes, we'll skip this step and go straight to disconnecting from the aircraft. After all the passengers have boarded or disembarked, the crew will close the doors. Then, to retract the canopy, press the button displayed on screen. Now switch the camera using the button displayed on screen. After each operation, the jetway must always return to its designated parking position, which is highlighted for you now. Guide the jetway so that the wheels are in this area. Great! You have just learned how to operate a terminal passenger jetway. Remember that it takes some time for all passengers to board. During this time, you can perform other tasks around the aircraft. See you later! In this tutorial, you'll learn how to service the luggage holds on a 737 MAX 8 aircraft. To perform this task, you'll need a vehicle with a loading belt, a tug, and luggage carts attached to the tug. Firstly, prepare for luggage collection by opening the right forward and rear cargo doors in advance. To do this, approach the cargo door and open it using the action displayed on the screen. Great! Next, you need to position the luggage loader at the rear cargo hold. But before we start, remember to always unload the aircraft starting from the rear of the plane. Why? The center of gravity of every aircraft is generally concentrated between the front and rear wheels as much as possible. To avoid a sudden weight imbalance potentially causing the aircraft to tip back onto its tail, you must first unload the rear hold so that the front of the plane is more heavily loaded than the rear. This situation is also known as tail strike. Now get behind the wheel of the luggage loader and drive it to the rear cargo hold. stop in the indicated zone. Alright, now your task is to adjust the height of the conveyor belt so that it is just below the door threshold. This will make it easier for you to enter the luggage hold. Do this using the buttons displayed on screen. Next, carefully drive up to the luggage hold. Don't hit the plane with... Great! Now we need to drive the tug and carts behind the loader so we can start collecting luggage. Now attach the luggage cart to the tug. To do this, position the rear tow hitch of the tug with the hook of the cart, then exit and follow the action prompts displayed on the screen to attach them. Remember, you can attach several carts together. The question is whether the tug has enough power to tow them and whether you have enough skill to attach them together. Now drive the tug with the cart behind the loader that you set up earlier. Leave yourself enough space to handle the luggage safely, then exit the tug. Enter the luggage hold and manually load the bags onto the conveyor belt and then onto the cart. To enter the luggage hold, press the button on screen to crouch. Now you need to transport all the collected luggage to the sorting area and transfer them to the belt that will direct them to the terminal. Start the belt by pressing the button on the side and gently lay the suitcases on it to deliver them to the baggage claim. Great! Now we will deal with loading luggage onto the aircraft. Luggage is collected from the luggage sorting area through the appropriate slides, where it is automatically sorted by the system to make our work easier. Open the tablet and go to the Operations list, then select Flight Mike Sierra 3214 in the Departures section to check the box number where you will collect incoming luggage. As you can see, the suitcases will be delivered to the box indicated on the tablet. Drive there and wait for the luggage. Your task will be to load the suitcases onto the luggage carts and deliver them to the front luggage compartment. Your task will be to load the suitcases onto the luggage carts and deliver them to the front luggage compartment. Now just like when unloading luggage, you need to use the luggage loader to load the luggage. Place it under the front cargo doors and adjust the tape to the correct height. Remember to start the tape to move the suitcases up towards the aircraft. You'll have to enter and neatly arrange the suitcases inside the cargo hold. As a final step, transport all the vehicles to the parking area so that they don't obstruct other activities. Now you know how to unload and load luggage on a 737 MAX aircraft. See you later. luggage holds on an Airbus A320neo aircraft. To perform this task, you'll need a vehicle with a loading belt, a tug, and luggage carts attached to the tug. Firstly, prepare for luggage collection by opening the right forward and rear cargo doors in advance. Unlike the 737, where we simply open the cargo hold door with the handle, on the Airbus A320, these doors are opened using a combination of a handle and hydraulic actuators. The exception is the smallest cargo hold door located at the very back of the aircraft. It's known as the bulk cargo door. To open the door, approach the cargo hold door and use the action displayed on the screen to open it. Alright, as you can see, the door has opened slightly, but not fully. This is because it is operated using an electrical hydraulic system. To open it fully, you need to use the indicated switch panel. Now approach and open the highlighted hatch. After opening, stand directly under the switch. To lift the door to its maximum angle, use the actions displayed on the screen. You'll notice that the door is fully open when the green light on the panel illuminates. Now repeat that for the rear luggage compartment. Great. Next, you need to position the luggage loader at the rear cargo hold. But before we start, remember to always unload the aircraft starting from the rear of the plane. Why? The center of gravity of every aircraft is generally concentrated between the front and rear wheels as much as possible. To avoid a sudden weight imbalance potentially causing the aircraft to tip back onto its tail, you must first unload the rear hold so that the front of the plane is more heavily loaded than the rear. This situation is also known as tail strike. Now get behind the wheel of the luggage loader and drive it to the rear cargo hold. Stop in the indicated zone. Alright, now your task is to adjust the height of the conveyor belt so that it is just below the door threshold. This will make it easier for you to enter the luggage hold. Do this using the buttons displayed on the screen. Next, carefully drive up to the luggage hold. Don't hit the plane with any force during this process. The lip of the conveyor belt only needs to be just near the lower edge of the hold door. Great. Now we need to drive the tug and carts behind the loader so we can start collecting luggage. Now attach the luggage cart to the tug. tow hitch of the tug with the hook of the cart, then exit and follow the action prompts displayed on the screen to attach them. Remember, you can attach several carts together. The question is whether the tug has enough power to tow them and whether you have enough skill to attach them together. Now drive the tug with the cart behind the loader that you set up earlier. Leave yourself enough space to handle the luggage safely, then exit the tug. Enter the luggage hold and manually load the bags onto the conveyor belt and then onto the cart. To enter the luggage hold, press the button on screen to crouch. Alright, now move to the front hold and retrieve the luggage from there. You already know what to do. Now you need to transport all the collected luggage to the sorting area and transfer them to the belt that will direct them to the terminal. by pressing the button on the side and gently lay the suitcases on it to deliver them to the baggage claim. Great! Now we will deal with loading luggage onto the aircraft. Luggage is collected from the luggage sorting area through the appropriate slides, where it is automatically sorted by the system to make our work easier. Open the tablet and go to the operations list, then select Flight Mike Sierra 3214 in the departures section to check the box number where you will collect incoming luggage. As you can see, the suitcases will be delivered to the box indicated on the tablet. Drive there and wait for the luggage. Your task will be to load the suitcases onto the luggage carts and deliver them to the front luggage compartment. Your task will be to load the suitcases onto the luggage carts and deliver them to the front luggage compartment. Okay, now just like when unloading luggage, you need to use the luggage loader to load the luggage. Place it under the front cargo doors and adjust the tape to the correct height. Remember to start the tape to move the suitcases up towards the aircraft. You will have to enter and neatly arrange the suitcases inside the cargo hold. As a final step, transport all the vehicles to the parking area so that they don't obstruct other activities. Great! Now you know how to unload and load luggage on an Airbus A320neo aircraft. See you later! Hello there! In this tutorial you'll learn how to handle refueling a 737 MAX 8. Refueling an aircraft is one of the most dangerous tasks performed on an airport's apron. The hazard of fire, spills and other dangers are high, so you must follow many safety rules. But don't worry, I will explain everything to you. An aircraft is standing at the stand, with a planned departure very soon. Your task is to refuel the appropriate amount of fuel and ensure that the tanks are properly balanced. Get into the tanker truck and drive it to the vicinity of the indicated aircraft. Remember, under no circumstances should you turn off the engine in the tanker when refueling. There is an important reason for this, namely, in the event of a fire, you must quickly move the tanker away from the aircraft and the terminal to prevent a potential disaster. Okay, jump out of the cab and then open the door to the tanker's fuel compartment. Now you'll need to protect yourself and the aircraft from possible sparks by connecting the grounding cable. Grab the grounding cable on the left side of the container. To connect the grounding cable, go to the aircraft's rear wheel and follow the actions displayed on the screen. Then open the flap on the aircraft wing to prepare for connecting the fuel hose. Approach the tanker, grab the fuel hose and pull it under the wing and connect it to the inlet. Great. Now check the tablet for the amount of fuel you'll need to refuel the aircraft. Go to the Operations tab. Select the aircraft that you need to refuel. In the task table, you will see the amount of fuel you need to refuel. Then go to the aircraft's refueling panel. panel. The panel is divided into 3 columns and 3 rows, where each is assigned to its corresponding fuel tank. Tanks 1 and 2 are wing tanks, and the center tank is, as the name suggests, in the center of the aircraft between the wings. In the first row, you'll find bulbs that illuminate when the valves are open. In the second row, there are valve switches which can be set to open and closed. The third row contains the fuel quantity selector dial, the current fuel level indicator, and the target fuel level in kilograms. Since you already have the panel explained, we'll now focus on the refueling process itself. You must distribute the amount of fuel indicated on the tablet between the 3 fuel tanks of the aircraft. The fuel tanks in the aircraft are located inside the wings and in the central tank located between the wings. First, you refuel the wing tanks, and then you refuel the remaining amount of fuel to the central tank. You'll need to calculate how to distribute the fuel between the tanks. Each wing holds 3.9 tons of fuel, and the central tank holds 13.1 tons. To select the amount of fuel, toggle the right side of the switch. To stop, toggle the left side of the switch. Now open the valves in the wing tanks. To exit the panel view, press the button displayed on screen. Now we only need to start the pump in the tanker by pulling the first lever from the left. You don't have to worry about overfilling, as it has an automatic fuel flow blocking system that will stop when the selected value on the computer is reached. Once the computer blocks the flow, you'll need to manually secure the valve by switching the switch to the closed position. Then open the valve for the central tank to refuel it. When finished, do the same with the other tanks and set the switch to the closed position. approach the tanker and turn off the fuel pump. Now disconnect the hose from the aircraft and return it to the tanker. Then disconnect the grounding cable, close the panel flap on the aircraft's wing and close the flap on the tanker. To confirm that you have completed the task, use the communication panel. Open it by performing the action displayed on screen. After opening it, select the Flight Crew tab, then Fuel, and finally, confirm refueling. Great! Now you can refuel the 737 MAX 8 aircraft. You will be able to do this task on your own during work. Just remember to move the tanker to a safe location after refueling. Until next time. Hello there! In this tutorial you'll learn how to handle refueling Airbus A320neo aircraft. Refueling an aircraft is one of the most dangerous tasks performed on an airport's apron. The hazard of fire, spills and other dangers are high, so you must follow many safety rules. But don't worry, I will explain everything to you. An aircraft is standing at the stand, with a planned departure very soon. Your task is to refuel the appropriate amount of fuel and ensure that the tanks are properly balanced. Get into the tanker truck and drive it to the vicinity of the indicated aircraft. Remember, under no circumstances should you turn off the engine in the tanker when refueling. There is an important reason for this, namely, in the event of a fire, you must quickly move the tanker away from the aircraft and the terminal to prevent a potential disaster. Okay, jump out of the cab and then open the door to the tanker's fuel compartment. Now you'll need to protect yourself and the aircraft from possible sparks by connecting the grounding cable. Grab the grounding cable on the left side of the container. To connect the grounding cable, go to the aircraft's rear wheel and follow the actions displayed on the screen. Then open the flap on the aircraft wing to prepare for connecting the fuel hose. Approach the tanker, grab the fuel hose and pull it under the wing and connect it to the inlet. Great. Now check the tablet for the amount of fuel you'll need to refuel the aircraft. Go to the Operations tab, select the aircraft that you need to refuel. In the task table, you will see the amount of fuel you need to refuel. Then go to the aircraft's refueling panel. Now that the fuel panel is revealed, take a moment to study it, and I'll explain how to use it. Starting from the top, you have the fuel quantity displayed on 3 screens, showing the amount of fuel in each tank. Below there are 3 indicators that tell you whether the valve to the tank is open. These switches are used to manually open or close the valves. This switch is used to select the mode between refueling and draining fuel from the tanks. Using this switch, you perform 2 tests. The high-level test checks the operation of the high-level fuel lights. LTS checks the proper operation of all fuel level sensors and screens. This switch starts the batteries needed to start the fuel panel system. On the left side, there is a display that informs you about the amount of fuel you have selected to refuel. Below it, there is a switch that adjusts the final fuel value. On the right side, the display shows the total fuel amount from all tanks. The end lamp informs you when the refueling process is complete. Now that the panel has been explained, we'll focus on refueling itself. You need to distribute the amount of fuel indicated in the tablet between the 3 tanks of the aircraft. Unlike the 737, in the A320, the computer automatically distributes fuel between tanks. Your task is to select the appropriate amount of fuel using the pre-selected switch. To set the desired amount of fuel, toggle the right side of the switch. To stop, toggle the left side of the switch. If you happen to set too much fuel, you can decrease it by switching the switch to the DEC position. Now we will go through the panel preparation for refueling. Start the battery by switching it to the on position. Then conduct the LTS test. Now start the high-level test. Add 11.7 tons of fuel to the tank using the pre-selected switch. press the button displayed on screen. Now we only need to start the pump in the tanker by pulling the first lever from the left. You don't have to worry about overfilling, as it has an automatic fuel flow blocking system that will stop when the selected value on the computer is reached. Once the computer blocks the flow, you'll need to manually secure the valve by switching the switch to the closed position. Once the computer blocks the flow, you'll need to manually secure the valve by switching the switch to the closed position. In today's tutorial, you'll learn about the pushback and walk-around procedures. The pushback procedure is one of the most difficult ones you can do at the airport. When pushing an aircraft back, you must be careful about your speed, the angle at which you're steering the aircraft, and of course, everyone on board the aircraft and around you. The pushback procedure is typically performed with the help of a special vehicle and a tow bar. We will be operating such a vehicle specifically designed for this task, the Goldhofer Bison. These vehicles are characterized by high power and torque, which means that certain models can push even the heaviest of aircrafts with full loads. Let's get started. Your initial task is to attach the tow bar to the back of the Bison. Before you do that, you need to prepare it for transport. Use the handle in the middle of the tow bar to lift the wheels and increase the clearance for transport. Now you're ready to attach the tow bar to the Bison. Okay, now you need to transport the vehicle with the tow bar into position in front of the aircraft we will be pushing. You must park in such a way that the tow bar is facing the aircraft's wheel, so you'll have to maneuver in reverse. I recommend changing the camera to an external view to make your work easier. Great! Now, go out and detach the tow bar from the back of the Bison. Now park the Bison so that it is behind the tow bar facing the front of the plane. You must park in such a way that the tow bar is facing the aircraft's wheel, so you'll have to maneuver in reverse. I recommend changing the camera to an external view to make your work easier. Great. Now wait for the aircraft to start the APU. In this case, the APU will be started automatically. In a normal scenario, you'll have to notify the pilots of the APU startup, but you'll learn about this in the GPU tutorial. Before departure, you must check if all the aircraft components have been secured and if there are any items on the plane. This process is called the walk-around, in which you walk around the plane, checking its individual components and verifying that they've not been damaged. To do the verification, approach the highlighted area and hold down the button displayed until it is verified. If you believe all the elements have been checked thoroughly, open the communication panel, go to the Flight Deck tab, and then select Walk-around. Your task is to attach the tow bar to the aircraft. To do this, approach it and grab it by the front handles by performing the displayed action. Then using the controls displayed, you can guide it with you. To turn the tow bar left or right, use the buttons displayed. To tilt the tow bar up or down, use the buttons displayed. Now that you know how to operate the tow bar, attach it to the indicated element on the aircraft's front wheel. tow bar to the front hitch of the bison. Great, now get behind the wheel of the bison. Before you begin pushback, you'll have to wait for a signal from the crew that you can start pushing the plane. You'll see this signal by the illumination of the position lights. These are red flashing lights located at the bottom and top of the aircraft. If they are on, it means you can go ahead and start pushing the plane. In this case, the plane will be taking off from runway 27, so you need to push it out to the left. Remember to make smooth movements and brake calmly if you need to, as the crew is likely conducting a safety briefing for the passengers. During the pushback, you'll have to notify the crew that they may start the engines. You'll do this using the communication panel in the flight deck tab. Remember to inform the pilots to start the engines before moving the plane onto the taxiway to avoid prolonging the standing time. There will be a zone on the taxiway where you'll have to place the plane so that its wheels are inside it. The plane must be positioned as parallel as possible to the taxiway lines. Once you have stopped, the supervisor will detach the tow bar and bypass pin from the plane for you. When the tow bar is detached from the plane and reconnected to the bison, you'll have to drive back to the stand from the taxiway. Congratulations! You have just completed the tutorial on the pushback and walk-around processes. Now you know how to perform these operations. Good luck!
I just hope that someday someone would love me.